what I want to do here is try out this. I got this from SparkFun. It's a LED strip, but it's in this weird kind of thick, waterproof neon. Where I got to get the air quotes in the right place. Neon. I don't know why they call it that. I guess except it sort of simulates a neon type of look. But anyway, it's sort of standard addressable LEDs. Or they're in chunks though, so they're not individually addressable. But there's like 20 segments on this thing. So anyway, what I want to do is see if I can get this to do anything interesting. I've wired it up. I installed the library for Arduino, and I have a basic sketch running. So you can see when I start this up, it sort of goes green and then red, and then this segment here flashes blue. But what I find interesting about that is as follows, because in the code here, it clearly says that it's flashing red. So I wonder if this is one of these things where I need to change the bit order or something. Actually, before I do anything more complicated, I see that there's a UCS 1903 and a UCS 1903B. Maybe I have the 1903B, and it's just a matter of changing that setting. So let's compile and flash this one and see what happens. No. Same deal. 1903B. I don't know what the difference is, so I'm going to go back to this one. And it does, I see it says RGB, so I wonder if, I haven't read the code at all, but I'm going to guess maybe there are constants for different bit orders. Maybe. So let's see what happens. Seems like it's compiling. Well, now it's flashing green. Yeah, it's consistently flashing green. So if it was flashing blue before, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Let's look at the code. I mean, let's look at the documentation. Who wants to look at the code? Nobody. We want to look at the documentation. So we will go to, this is the product, by the way. Doesn't really say much, except there are 10 UCS 1903 ICs. So yeah. Data sheet for that, but I think the key is going to be to look at this fast LED library and see what sort of documentation we've got. So okay, specify the RGB ordering and the data and clock pins. So, sure. But I don't know what these things are. Frequently asked questions. Maybe it's a frequently asked question. Hello. Stupid Windows. When I say red, it comes out green. Sure. Fine. Oh, look, there's a calibration sketch. I wonder if that is... I wonder if it's as simple as looking in the example code and finding the calibration sketch. Let me see if they have a calibration example. Fast LED, RGB calibrate. Oh, how about that? Okay. So UCS 1903 was the one I had. Now, I've confused the hello. OBS here is looking at the wrong window, so I need to fix that. There we go. Okay. What does it say here? Uncomment the line discussion on chipset you're using. Yes. To find the data pin. Yes. You should see 6 LEDs on if the ordering is correct. 1 red, 2 green, 3 blue. Okay, cool. Makes sense to me. Except I think I need to set this to 20. And the data pin is 3. And the product I have is the 1903 upload. I need a faster computer. I never expected this little Windows PC I got for emergency backup purposes would end up doing live YouTube streaming and so on. So let's see. Come on. You can compile. It's just Arduino. Not that complicated. Last thing I want to do is short the 24 volts to the Arduino data pin. That would probably be bad. Come on. Okay, here we go. This is bizarre. Okay. It's not doing anything like I was expecting it to do. So I did change this from totally not working. It's very colorful, but something ain't right. So what is it that ain't right here? What is the problem? This should not be so difficult. I don't know, man. Clearly there's data going out here. Clearly. But for why does it not like me? What happens if I unplug the Arduino? Just stop it. Come on. Why should that be hard to unplug? There we go. Okay, so it's, that's very interesting. So it's kind of going on its own. What's that about? Is it just picking up noise? Is that the problem? Maybe that is the problem. Or maybe it's kind of defective. Maybe I completely misunderstand the way this is supposed to work. If I just power it up with no data connected, it's doing a lot of stuff. Maybe I should have done some basic testing before deciding I was gonna get all programmatic here. Check the wiring diagram just to be sure. It says red 24 volts DC, middle data, clear side ground. So that would be red 24 volts DC, middle data, which I've now left disconnected, and then side ground, turn power supply back on, and once again goes a little crazy. I did leave the data pin floating. What if I just tie that to ground? See what happens. Fairly reliably cycling. It just doesn't seem right to me. Unless it's in some kind of demo. That feels like a demo. I mean, it wouldn't come up with that on its own. I mean, from noise. Yeah, that's going through some kind of built-in pattern. Very confusing. I find this very, very confusing. I'm going to try rebuilding this code with this set to pin 6 just for no good reason except, you know, really no good reason. Maybe I'll try one of the other ground references here. Okay, you go here. You go here. No shorty outy. You promise? Okay. Powered up. It's doing its thing, except not. That is just strange. It's like okay. So to plug this in, it should start sending data. It's on the wrong pin. Okay, cool, fine. Fine, perfectly fine, reasonable, that's okay. So now I want to rebuild this code with the data pin set to 6, and we'll see what it looks like. It's almost like it has to do something to stop the built-in demo. Oh, maybe that's the problem. I think I know what it is. Let's reset this. Yep. I have a theory. It's a good theory. So if we take a look at this code here, you can see that what it does is it sets up 5 LEDs and then runs show and then waits it has a delay 1 second. I think if you delay too long, I suspect what happens is it starts going into its pre-programmed mode. So this is doing something really weird where it's running the pre-programmed mode, but then every 1 second this program wakes up and tries to send a packet of data and so on and so forth. So I think it needs to be, I don't know, I mean, it's possible that this has it's possible that this runs in the background with some interrupt thing and just, you know, continuously pumps out the correct data, but I'm going to guess that's not the way it works. So I think I have to set number of LEDs to 20 to program the whole strip. And then here's what I'm going to do. While 1, okay, just as a test, I want to see what happens if we just send it one thing and then stop. And I think that'll cause it to go back into the built-in cycle. So after this test, I'm going to take the delay out. See how that works. Okay, so that's running. Yeah. So if I reset, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the reset button on the Arduino, which will cause it to do that one, basically send the code once. And then I think what will happen is this will briefly change to display some pattern. And then when it doesn't get any more data from the Arduino, it'll go back into this built-in loop. So there we go. See? We saw the green there for just a moment. And then it starts doing its own thing, although it's confused. I don't know. Hey, it was a reasonable enough theory. But what do I know? Yeah. Okay. Enough of this. Let's take the delay out entirely and try it with that. And then after that, I'm going to look at the API documentation and see what it says. Ah, perfect. So that's what it is. It just wasn't, this thing has some built-in like demo mode where it just cycles through everything if you don't give it any data. And so the code in this sketch was sending it data and then pausing. And apparently if you pause, like if I were to unplug the Arduino now, or just disconnect the data pin so it stops sending it data, it'll go back into its little cycle thing, see? So you have to continuously send it data. So we're seeing blue, red, green. So that is telling me that, where is that page I was just on a minute ago? RGB calibration. So what it says here is you should see 1 red, 2 green, and 3 blue. Instead we see 1 blue, 2 red, and 3 green. So that is telling us 1 blue, 2 red, 3 green. Then the ordering should be blue, red, green. So BRG is the correct ordering. So if we go back to this code and change that from RGB to BRG and run this again, then we should get what we want. So BRG. Put them in the brig. Red, green, blue. Excellent. So we now know the parameters. It's a UCS 1903, it's BRG, and it is 20 LEDs. So now we can do, if I go, you can't see the menus I'm selecting from, but I'm going to go in here and I'm going to try to find a nice demo. Let's go with Cylon. So I have a sketch here called Cylon, and you can see LEDs, there are 20 in the strip. Data pin is 6. They seem to randomly change this from one sketch to another. And then, where's the... all right, gonna have to reopen the other example. BRG. So I'm just gonna copy and paste. Okay. I don't know if this will work or not. Let's find out. So this should... I'm just rushing through this because I'd like to get results quickly without spending any time on it. So hopefully I've hacked this together in a way that's going to do something. Come on. program. You can compile faster. This is so fast on my Mac. I guess I should, I either need to get a high-end Windows PC to use as a streaming rig, as they say, or I need to reorder the way I do things, so I'm running this off my Mac. But for the moment, we're waiting for this tedious green compile. Here we go. Cool. So that, I think, is doing what it wants to do. I don't know. Who's to say? It's clearly doing something. Of course it's doing something. Let's try a different one. Let's try another example. There's a demo here called, I don't know, Demo Reel 100. What is that? 100 lines of code demo reel. All right. So let's get rid of Cylon and let's see what this looks like. So I need to set num LEDs to 20. I don't know, maybe that's not enough for these demos, but we'll find out. And then I need to set up the correct, what is set correction? Not a clue. I'll comment this out, paste in the one I actually have. Try that set correction thing afterward. I want to see if there's anything in here that depends on the number of LEDs. All right, it seems to all be parameterized for that, so it should be good. Okay, fine. So oops, I gotta change the data pin to 6. Oh, you know what? They put LED type in color order in pound define here, so now I could set this to UCS 1903 and the color order to be BRG, and maybe that will work better. Sweet. So assuming this compiles, I could turn this light off here, that might help. I do have another strip, so we can do this with 40. Another whole package. If this works, I might use these for Christmas lights because they are waterproof or water resistant, or they've put some hot glue in. I'm not going to pretend that it's anything other than inexpensive, human rights abusing factory made. So don't expect too much. Okay, here's the demo. Maybe. Oh, that's neat. That's a cool effect. Now, I'm assuming that this demo cycles through different modes. Yeah, there we go. There's another mode, little sparklies. And there's another mode. Cool. Hey, I think it's working. So, given that it's working, I am going to go back to the code here. We're going to change this to 40 and recompile whilst I attempt to connect this one to that one. I'm going to move this very carefully because some of the connections are just hanging out in free space. And I do have a beefy power supply here that would be quite happy to short out and melt some things. Yeah, cool. So as you can see, they're chained together correctly because the effect goes from the one to the other. So they're it's reasonably flexible. And let me get that Arduino window out of the way. Here we go. Cool. So yeah, that is the iPixel Flex LED neon from iPixelLEDs.com via SparkFun. I've looked at their website and it's not one of these places that sells directly, so cool. Now that I have it all, so I'm just sort of staring at this because it's kind of neat. I wonder if I could turn the brightness up. It seems like the code has somewhere limited the brightness, so yeah, brightness 96. I wonder if that's 96 out of what? Yeah, set brightness. Why don't we look at the API and see what set brightness does? Basic usage? The way the documentation is not organized in a way that I find particularly amazing. Okay, 0 to 255. I think we knew that before starting, but, you know, whatever. All right, so hopefully now this thing will start up again in a moment after it reboots and run the demo again at full brightness. Yay, it's running the demo again at full brightness. Very nice. Frustration aside, certainly getting a little frustrated, but it does look like it's a very comprehensive library and there's a lot you can do with it. So, you know, when I'm not like stressing out and trying to get it to do something quickly, chances are that I'm going to be able to, yeah, I might be able to make something cool. It really is quite hypnotic. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to do. So I'm just kind of staring at this now, but I got the thing working, and that is the extent of my plan for today. And I'm looking for the button to stop the live stream here, because you know. Computers. Computers are difficult. All right, never mind. I'll stop it from the OBS side.